There we go. They're about to open the gates. This is Saturday morning at the Greater Houston Hamfest 2018. Looks like a thread of rain out here. Although it hadn't rained yet, but it is cloudy. Kind of muggy, kind of humid out here, which is what you would expect in Houston. But actually the temperature is a little bit chilly. I expect that once the sun comes up later, it'll burn off some of these clouds and get hot like it was yesterday. So, good afternoon. My name is Jason. I'm KC5HWB. This is Ham Radio 2.0 with the 2018 Greater Houston Hamfest. The Hamfest is smaller this year than it has been in the last few years, partially due to the hurricane that hit Houston last year that people have still not 100% recovered from yet, and partially due to some venue issues. I think there's two other Hamfests going on in Texas this weekend, and then nobody has a Hamfest next weekend, which is unusual because March is usually a month that's filled with Hamfests every weekend. For some reason, everybody likes to have their Hamfest in March in Texas, and but next weekend, the last weekend of March, which is not Easter weekend. Easter weekend is the following weekend. 2 days from tomorrow is Easter. But next weekend, the last weekend of March, nobody has a Hamfest scheduled. So I'm curious as to say, I'm going to see if I can find out from the guys in here. I've got an interview set up with 3 people this morning. I don't know if we'll actually get to talk to all 3 of them, but I'm going to try. And if I can get the Hamfest chairman on the sit down at the table with me for 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to talk about that and a few other things. So anyway, let's go in and see what's going on. And thanks for joining the episode. There's a really big crowd in here.
Yeah.
I can't walk down. I haven't been able to walk down the aisles yet. Well, I walked down a couple aisles, but I have to wait for people going slow and whatnot.
Well, and that's why you're supposed to have a Hamfest like
that?
this?
Exactly, yeah, for sure. Okay, Mike, give me your call sign again.
November 5, Victor Charlie X-Ray, N5 VCX.
VCX, okay. And this is the 2018 Greater Houston Hamfest, and you are the current, is it chairman, president? How does that work? Both?
However you want to call it. I'm just called the coordinator.
The coordinator. And you said that the guy was, there was supposed to be someone else coordinated, but he was a victim of the hurricane.
Yeah, we had somebody else.
Yeah.
Ron Litt, N5HM, was going to be the coordinator this year.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he was flooded out with about 4 feet of water.
Yeah.
Still living in an apartment.
Living in an apartment. Gosh,
Yep.
that was what, September last year? August? Okay, so almost, not quite a year ago. 6-8 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, but Hurricane Harvey just affected lots of people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know. I've got property down in Galveston, and it affected not my area, but several areas down there, as I'm sure you know. But, it was definitely devastating. Okay, so tell us about the Hamfest. This is your, how many years?
17th year.
17th year. And we're actually in Rosenberg, Texas, which is southwest.
It's 35 miles from downtown Houston.
Okay.
So it's southwest of Houston.
Yes. Okay.
I got a whole story spiel if you want to hear it.
No, go for it.
Okay.
That's what I like to get, histories, because several of the interviews I've done at other Hamfests in the past, I got histories, and I always get good comments on that, saying, "Oh, hey, I never knew that," or I didn't know where that came from, or what happened to those guys way back when, or something like that. So please go ahead.
Yeah, Greater Houston Hamfest is 17 years. I mean, it's been hard building it up and everything. There was been several Hamfests in Houston off and on over the last 30 plus years. Mm-hmm. two others that I know of. One lasted only 3 years. Another one before that, I think it was about 15 years. So we're the longest. We started right about year 2001, with something called the Mix and Match Swap Meet, which was a meeting night. And so I changed it from, I was a club president that year, and the club, Brazos Valley Amateur Radio Club, well, we were kind of on hard times, low membership for us, which was about 80 members. But we didn't, our normal funds was drying up. We couldn't pay our insurance, and it looked pretty bleak in a lot of ways. And so I came up with the idea to do a Hamfest. There have been some semi-successful tailgates over the years, but I said, nope, we're going to do a Hamfest. And we had the first one on a meeting night. Then we moved the next year to the same place, but then it was on a Saturday. And that was kind of when, let's just start doing this all the time. And so the next year we had it on the same weekend as Orange, which obviously I got really kind of shoot up on that. But so the Mix and Match Swap Meet survived for about 5 or 6 years, and then it changed to the Greater Houston Hamfest. And then we moved here. So we've been here for 10 plus years, and it's grown every year. And as you can see in the background, good crowd. Good weather that's helped. It's not blasting out there with the sun. It's not pouring down rain. But,
it looks like it could start to rain, but it's actually nice out there. I went and got some drone footage of everybody in the parking lot a little bit earlier this morning. So it.
But anyhow, the Hamfest has grown. The cute little story off to one side was where we were having it, like I said, in our meeting area. It was a little community center for City of Sugar Land, and we check it out. When we checked it out, you get your tables and chairs and a microphone and a microphone stand. And after our little mix and match swap meet that we had, the microphone ended up missing. And everybody turned to me and said, "Mike, did you sell the microphone?" And I just, I don't know. I could have, but so that's the beginning, and it's worked very well for the last 17 years here in Houston.
Good. Okay. Now, usually you said something a minute ago about being on the same date as Orange.
Yes.
Which they're the last weekend in February, if I recall.
Right. I made a mistake, and
and it hadn't been on February since I've been coming here. It's always been in March. But
correct.
Usually you're the last weekend in March.
Actually, we started out the first weekend of March.
Okay.
And we had trouble getting some buildings. And then we moved to the middle of March. And it's bounced around a little bit, depending on what the availability is of the building, the Fort Bend County Fairgrounds.
Right. Okay. And so we should say that it's actually in the Fort Bend County Fairgrounds location in Rosenberg, Texas.
Right, just south of Rosenberg.
Right. Okay. So
it says Houston, but Houston's a big place.
Well, it's Greater Houston Area Hamfest, right, or something.
Close enough.
I mean, yeah, close enough. So that's okay. That's okay. What was I going to say? This weekend, today is St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And there's always a St. Patrick's Day Hamfest in Midland every year.
Yes.
So now Midland's a long way from here, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it is the West Texas Section ARRL convention every year, and you guys are the South Texas convention
this year.
So I think we've got some conflict going there.
A little bit. I've talked to a few people, and we actually have. I know one person, his wife showed up. They came from El Paso.
Oh, wow.
And they literally just bypassed Midland and came over here.
Well, this is a bigger show. I went to Midland. I didn't go last year, but I went 2 or 3 years in a row prior to that, and this is a bigger show than Midland. But, I mean, I just wonder if Texas is a big state, right? It's not like we're talking about Maryland or Rhode Island here. It's like, well, we can't have a Hamfest on this weekend if somebody else in Texas is having a Hamfest on this weekend. But it would still be kind of nice to see a little bit more coordination go along there because...
Well, like I said, early on we were on the first week of March.
Okay.
But we had trouble getting buildings.
Right. Well, and that's what everybody faces that, right? The venue is always one of the major catalysts when doing a Hamfest. Right. You want one that's the right size. You got to make sure it's available at the time you want to do it, and all this kind of good stuff.
And then the magic number is price.
Right. Yes. Of course, the price. Yeah. So.
But for right now, I mean, next year it's don't quote me on these dates because it's on the website somewhere.
Okay.
21st, 22nd, 23rd of 2019.
Okay.
I could be wrong on those, but I've talked to the facility here, and I've penciled in the first weekend of March for 2020. Kind of trying to take care of the collisions between us and Midland.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that'd be the soonest.
Yeah.
If we could change it.
Okay. I was told that Georgetown has a small Hamfest, and I was told they do theirs is today also, and they usually do theirs the weekend prior. They usually do theirs the second weekend.
Yes.
So apparently nobody in Texas had a Hamfest last weekend or next weekend, and I find that very unusual because people in Texas love to have Hamfests in March.
Yes.
So I just find that strange.
The one last weekend was rain. In
yes,
Louisiana.
yeah, in Louisiana. I was there. I was in that one. Yeah, but that's not a Texas Hamfest. Not that matters. You know, there were 3 or 4 years I was going to a bunch of Hamfest for a while, and there was a Texas Hamfest every weekend in March. Mm-hmm. The Irving Hamfest is usually the first weekend, and then sometimes you've got Midland, and sometimes you've got Georgetown. Last year, Belton moved theirs because of facility issues. Mm-hmm. Belton had theirs in March, which was really weird. Everybody complained about that, but they were like, wasn't our decision. So
right.
Yeah.
See, if we move to the first weekend of March, then we collide with Irving.
Right. Yeah.
So it's difficult finding a date. When I was, like I said, with the mix and match, and we were trying to find venues and dates and everything, other than the collision with Orange. I mean, from that year on, I researched it January 1st, December 31st, trying to find a good time. And March was it. At that time, things were a little thin, but, you know, new ones have popped up. Georgetown is a relatively new one.
Right.
Even Irving is a new one. It may not be a new one, but they're growing a little bit now.
A little bit, yeah. Although I was told there was no vendors at that show this year, so they're kind of... It's not a bad show. It's a decent show. I wish they had a better outdoor swap fest area.
Right.
So, but yeah. So I mean, it's definitely challenging to coordinate all that because you've got, like you said, venue price, availability, and then you got to worry about what everybody else is doing out there.
Right.
So that's true. So, all right, great. Well, anything else you want to tell us about the show?
Greater Houston Hamfest. It's this year. I mean, it's if you have time and plan for next year, come on out.
Right.
I think the venue is getting a lot better, and the county's pouring some more money into this.
Good.
You know, a couple of things we've added. We've added golf carts to help people around.
Okay.
Either if there's some handicap issues or something, we'll come out and pick them up, bring them to and from their cars. Or if you're buying lots and lots of equipment, we'll come out and take your equipment to your car.
Carry it out for you.
Sure.
Good. Okay.
But otherwise, it's great. We've got a new food set up here with the American Legion.
American Legion is running. Yeah, I went over there a minute ago. They're running a concession stand over there.
Yes, and it's unfortunately due to construction, we couldn't have it right here in the building. Next year, we plan to have it right here.
Okay.
So you can buy radios and eat all within 10 feet of each other.
There you go. How many tables do you have this year? Did you have available this year?
You're asking me a question I'm supposed to know. The building comes with about 80.
Okay.
And we grab another 100.
Okay.
So 180 tables are in this building all by itself.
Okay. So, because I usually, when I go to each of these shows, I kind of like to gauge. A lot of people say, well, how many tickets did you sell? And that's important too, but I'm like, okay, well, if you sold 500 tickets for a show with 50 tables, that's different than if you sold 500 tickets with a show with 300 tables, right? So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. So I like to know how many tables and how many tickets were sold.
Yep.
So, and how many tickets did you sell? Do you know?
I have no
that?
idea yet.
Okay, all right. What'd you do last year?
Thousands. We had about 1,000 last
Bigger than Hamcom. Because Hamcom did 900 last year, but I think they're going to bust that this year with the move back to Plano. All right, Mike, I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for your time.
I had a good time today. And
thank you for coming out.
Yep.
Always enjoy you coming out down here.
Good.
You're always welcome. And, 73.
73. All right, Rick. I always have a hard time remembering your call sign because I know it's N5 something and there's another N in there somewhere.
KJN. Cajun.
Cajun. Hey, there you go. Now I remember it.
I'm Cajun. I'm in 5. My brother's in 4 KJN, and my sister-in-law's in 3 KJN.
Is that right? Oh, wow.
The Cajun crew.
Are you actually from Louisiana?
From Lafayette.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That's why
that's
going to Rain every year is going home deal.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed that show last year, or last weekend. That was a good show, I think. So, all right. So I wanted to sit down and talk with you about Houston area DMR stuff.
It's grown quite.
It has grown a bit.
Yeah. I got started in it Thanksgiving a year ago.
Okay.
K3JMC Matt said, "Here, you want to borrow this radio?" And he lent me a CS800 mobile.
Okay. The mobile. Okay.
The mobile. So I got playing with that. Then like everybody starts with the DJ380, the little TYT380.
MD380.
MD380.
Yes, correct.
I got that. Then I got another one. Then I got the Connect System 750, better mobile or handheld. Mm-hmm. Then I went to the TYT 2017, got rid of it. Now I'm on this Anytone. Okay. That's the best thing I
like the Anytone a lot myself. That's the one I've brought to the show with me right here. So
it's got tons of memory. Mm-hmm. And you can, but the thing I really like about it is you can manipulate so much with the CSV files.
Yes.
It's not one huge CSV file. It's multiple files so you can rearrange things.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. I just like the way the screen is laid out, how when you're receiving a signal, how it says a person's name and call sign, where they're located, and what talk group they're on.
Do you have their call sign highlighted in red?
No.
You can change it where the call sign comes up red and the name is black.
I haven't done that yet. No. Everything's black, but I just like the way it's laid. You know, it's easy to read from top to bottom. I just like the way it's laid out. You know, a lot of the times yep. Huh, that is cool. I do like. Oh yeah, that's.
It does a call.
Oh, that's the last heard. The last heard. Okay, I was gonna say that was my call sign, but I'm not transmitting. So yeah, okay. I don't have mine set up that way. So is there an option in the menu to show
turn on the last heard?
Well, yes, I know that, but like
there's another one that says it'll say call black or red.
Okay. What about this T1 on the right side over there?
The T1?
Yeah. It says T1, and then underneath it says 41,000, or I guess.
That's just the top time slot.
Okay, time slot 1, and then 441.1 is what you're. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, but I don't have mine to show that. I have mine showing just. And this is just really the kind of the standard.
Yeah.
I haven't changed anything, so you can add that in the menu also. Okay, I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, and so with the DMR here in the Houston area, Tracy N5LUY has gotten a lot of it going. Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to put one in Pearland so I'd have handheld coverage. Mm-hmm. Well, then another one got put up, so we've gotten quite a few. Texas City just went online here a couple of days ago.
I just sent an email about that one.
And it's nice because I have a list that I send to people, kind of a standard list, but it's worked out real good because I can send people to your site. Mm-hmm. So that way, here's the Houston stuff, but your site has all of the state stuff.
Right.
And it's a one common place. That was the one thing I found when I got in DMR. It was like it was a secret. Yeah, there's a DMR repeater, and it has time slot 1 and time slot 2. But you didn't know what was on time slots or anything. So I've made it my mission to get the information readily available to people.
Right. That's been my goal. I didn't start DMRTexas.net, but the guy who started it came to me and he said, "Hey, what do you think about this idea?" And I said, "I think that's a great idea. I've thought about it for a while."
Well, that's what you and I talked about last year.
Right. Yeah. And I'm talking about the website.
No, remember last year I talked about I was one of the guys was saying, "Won't you start a website?"
Oh yes.
So.
That's right. I forgot you had told me about that. Yeah.
Any sense in reinventing the wheel if you had already had the wheel kind of rolling?
Yeah.
So let's all get on the same bandwagon.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, the DMR Mark website's so far outdated. Nobody goes there anymore for repeater information. It's just.
I got in touch with them the other day. I've offered to help them because I told them the website is so outdated.
Right.
If you do a CSV, it comes with it's all messed up because people put junior, and that messes it moves it all over a column. So the guy told me to do CSVQ, which helps a lot.
Okay.
But I got in touch with them, and they're supposed to be trying to, because I told them, I said, I spend a day straightening out your junk.
Right.
So now so if we could get it straight at the source, so the names and everything lines up. So they're supposed to be working on that.
Okay.
That's why if you look now, they tell you to do the JSON file, JSON.
Yeah, JSON file.
Because the guy I was talking to is the one that wrote the little API, and he said, yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time with it.
Oh.
So, and on that, the Anytone Connect Systems just put something on their website. They have a new firmware, and you can convert the Anytone to a DCF file, and the NOGSG contact manager will now work.
Yes.
So that was a big help.
Yeah. Now, he added N0GSG added the Anytone a few months ago, but when he first added it, it would only do one bank.
Right.
So like when you would you'd load a code plug from another radio into the contact manager for the Anytone, and it would just duplicate your bank A and bank B would be exactly the same. It would duplicate it. And I've emailed with Tom, the guy who writes that software. His call sign's N0GSG, and he says he's working on an update to that. I don't know. It might be out by now. I've not looked at it in a few weeks.
He did one maybe a month ago.
Okay.
2.5.
I saw 2.5 come out, and he said something about how it's got support for something else. He didn't talk about the Anytone, though.
Well, I think the Anytone went to meet him halfway by doing this conversion to a DCF file, and then you can manipulate the contact manager for your contacts.
Okay.
So that helped.
Okay.
And that's what's nice. A lot of people come together.
Yes.
I do the page for the Houston area. I send it a copy to you for that web page, and I've also started sending it to Aaron, N5 AMS, who does repeater book in Houston. Repeater book in Texas.
Good.
So Aaron is starting to keep that up to date.
Oh, good. Okay.
The guy with RF Finder that took over for ARRL.
Yes.
His stuff is so far out of date. I've emailed him a couple of times, and his plan is for all the repeater trustees are supposed to update him so he can charge us hams $10 a year to go see his stuff.
and I've emailed about him, and I'm like, dude, how do I get my stuff up? Because you should be able to go into the app and update it, but you can't do that.
But his stuff, I've never found a way. It'll only tell you that there's a DMR repeater, the frequency, and that there's time slot 1 and 2. He has no place to put the information.
No, he doesn't.
Time slot 1 and 2.
No.
So I've written him off. I'm not.
Well, he says if you put it in a certain format and email it to a guy, who is it? I forget who it is right now. Email it to someone. I've got an email from Bob, because I carry the RFinder device. I think it's a good device. Updating DMR Mark stuff, because he's big into Brandmeister, right? He's like, well, just do Brandmeister, and then you want to. I was like, not everyone wants 750 talk groups on their repeater. So it's
all of my stuff is DMR Mark. So I'll do RF. I have yet to play with the open spots and any of that other stuff.
I've got an open spot, and it's okay. I like the stuff that they do, but I'm much more. We've had DMR Mark repeaters in Texas for 5 years, and Brandmeister 5 years longer than Brandmeister's ever existed. I mean, we've had DMR repeaters in North Texas, in Dallas area, since 2010.
Right.
So, and Brandmeister didn't come around until 2015. So, we were already ingrained and spent money and spent time and effort on getting this stuff up and running. So, I'm like, and they bring some cool items to the table. But I'm like, I'm not going to go redo everything I've done just because you guys decided to do something differently. Because, I mean, a Motorola repeater, a commercial grade Motorola repeater, many times which are on commercial ISPs, depending on where they're. I mean, that's going to be better than a hotspot any day of the week anyway.
Yeah.
So, but deployment of repeaters is always a challenge, of course. So, so I talked to this gentleman right here, K5VOM. Do you know him?
No, it don't sound familiar.
Okay. He asked me about deploying a DMR repeater in Houston. And I said, well, you've got some already. So he and I talked about that a little bit yesterday. And then the guys from the guys who had the table over there for the Texas QSO party, they're from Baytown. And he's like, well, how do we get a DMR repeater in Baytown? I'm like, all you got to do is ask me. I've got like 5 of them sitting on the bench right now that need homes.
There's one in LaPorte now.
And I told him that. He wasn't aware of that one. So I was like, go to dmrtexas.net.
And that's exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I told him.
Because I don't have everybody's email address to send these updates.
Yeah.
But to the point, that's why I keep pushing that website.
Right.
So, yeah, there's one in LaPorte. And when I went to Rain the other day, I was on LaPorte DMR repeater all the way to Winnie, Texas.
Really?
When I went over the bridge in Winnie, I lost it. I was talking to DEJ on the west side of the bridge.
Okay.
When I went to the east side of the bridge, it went away. You have all the way to Winnie, Texas.
Nice.
On LaPorte.
Okay. How far is that from the border?
It's like almost 24 air miles.
Okay. So we need to find someone in Winnie, Texas that will let us put a repeater up.
Well, I'm working.
I'm working on
I'm already working on one here in Rosenberg.
Well, and see, that's somebody came by this. Everybody comes up to me and asks me about DMR because I do a lot of episodes on DMR, and I push the DMRTexas.website. DMRTexas.net website is what I meant to say. I don't, like I said, I don't own it. That wasn't my brainchild, but the guy who created it came to me and said, do you think this is a good idea? I said, I think it's a great idea. I just haven't had time to do it, so why don't you do it and I'll help.
What we need to do is get the TexasDMR.net and point it back to DMR Texas, because I keep getting them reversed.
Who owns Texas DMR?
I don't think anybody does. But it's something I just thought about.
Just register a new URL? Okay, that's a good idea.
You see what I'm saying? That way.
Yeah.
Because I'll say it, then I'll wait. Was it DMR Texas? No, it's Texas DMR. No, and I go back and forth and I play with it.
Forget which way it is.
It might be good to just get that one and point it to it. So no matter which way you go, you got it right.
Yeah, you got the right website. Good. Okay. So we've got a new...
the information out is the main thing.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. And code plugs also. So we're trying to get code plugs from people. I've had several people come up to me today and say, do you have a Houston area code plug? And I'm like, well, I have a Texas code plug, which includes Houston, but I don't have a Houston-only code plug.
I'll build you one for the Anytone.
Okay, yeah, if you want to send me one, because we've got a bunch of code plugs listed on DMRTexas.net.
We had a new guy the other day that was talking about getting into DMR, and he had a Motorola.
Yes.
And I looked on your website, I said, there's a code plug already on the website for you.
Yeah,
so it's so much easier to start with a code plug than modify it, to start from ground zero.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because then you can see how other people have built it and what they're in. You're like, and that's how I learned to build code plugs, was I look at what someone else did. So, yeah, totally agree with that. Turn my mic. Yeah, there it is. So you got one. Huntsville's online now.
Yeah, I heard Huntsville's online.
So
I hadn't had a chance to get the frequencies and everything put it in.
I updated that this morning at the same time I put Texas City up there. Okay. So both of those are on DMRTexas.net now. And the guy in Huntsville, he's been working on that repeater for like 2 years. And I emailed him several times and I said, what's your time slot talk group assignments? And he didn't know. He's like, I thought that was done at the Seabridge level. I'm like, it is, but you tell the Seabridge owner what you want. And he didn't. He's like, man, I'm new to this. I'm like, okay, that's fine, no problem.
Which one? Montgomery?
No, Huntsville.
Okay.
Huntsville, actually in Huntsville. So I emailed Wayne and I said, hey, what did you put on? And he sent me a list. So I put that on DMRTexas.net this morning when I got your email.
Okay,
I saw your email from Texas City. Now, he doesn't have the Houston area talk group added to the Huntsville repeater.
No.
Maybe that's a little bit too far out for you guys. I don't know. But
the rule of thumb was 50 miles from downtown Houston.
See, I think Tracy told me 40 miles from downtown Houston.
Tracy said 40.
Yeah.
And I pushed the issue because of Freeport. Freeport was like 42 or 40, right at it. So when we've been having a couple meetings here lately of different repeater owners.
Right.
And we agreed to put Freeport because they were standalone down there.
Right.
So now Freeport is on the Houston Talk Group.
Yes.
And so Freeport is there, and then everything else is on the Houston Talk Group.
Okay. LaPorte's there, of course, right?
LaPorte's there.
Okay. So, because we talked last year about putting one in Galveston, right? Which
right.
and And I'll be in Galveston on Easter weekend. My wife and I are going to go down there. We're going to spend 3 or 4 or 5 nights down there.
Texas City works.
I'm going to test that. I'm going to test that when we go down there, because I can get into Alvin if I'm standing on. I have a house at the West End in Bermuda Beach, and it's, of course, all the houses down there on stilts, right? So I'm 2 stories off the ground. Okay, so I'm not standing on ground level. And if I stand in the right place, I can key the Alvin repeater enough to have a conversation. It's very spotty. But this is from an HT. Now, if I go in, get into my car or in the mobile, it's fine. But I'm like, okay, so it's like on the edge of coverage. So let's get something on the island. But that Texas City repeater, that might fill the gap in that we've been looking for.
I've looked, and when I did the map on it, it'll cover down to about St. Louis Pass, all the way to
San Luis Pass and what? Because that's Seawall Boulevard once you get out of...
not the San Luis,
FM 3005?
all the way past the end of the island when you go over the little toll bridge.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's way down there. Okay. Okay. Have you... Okay.
So
okay.
The theoretical line of sight is down there.
It's down there. That's way past West End Galveston before you get into the city of Jamaica Beach.
Jamaica Beach, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It's well past that.
Okay. Okay. Well, if that's the case,
See you later.
we won't have any problems if that's it.
Take care, Jay.
Thank you.
But we've already discussed in our meetings with the Seabridge group and everything else, if that would done cut it, and we're working on another one for the city of Galveston anyway.
Okay.
And that'll go on the same port that the Pearland repeater's on.
Okay.
We've already made reservations and everything else, so it'll go on that port.
Okay. Okay.
So it would be just like the Pearland repeater.
Okay. Okay. So it'd be
I haven't given up on it. I'm still working. Honestly, one of the issues we came up with when we went down to where it was going to be, the repeater was out. We were trying to figure out what was going on with the repeater, and come to find out the whole complex was without power.
Oh. Okay.
And what was comical, the camera at the site for the city was powered. But one floor down, the switch for the internet and everything else, it was not on generator.
Oh.
So
okay.
The repeaters aren't generator backed up or anything else. So we're still working that.
Okay.
I haven't given up.
Okay.
Because I do the bike around the bay, which is a big bike ride. So all these analogs and everything else, I'm working on getting the DMR. So now with this DMR in LaPorte and Texas City, my next hope is for High Island.
Where is that?
That's on to the west of, it's due south of Winnie, Texas.
Okay. Okay.
That would cover my whole bike ride.
That'd cover the whole thing, huh? There you go. Okay. Yeah, and getting one out here in Rosenberg would be good too.
Yeah.
Or I
looked, and it's kind of in the no man's land right here. So
right.
One guy's in the test session this morning has some stroke here in the Rosenberg area, and well, I think I know where we could put one. So
there you go.
I'm already working on Rosenberg.
Hey, perfect. Yeah, because I thought Pearland would cover up here, but I guess we're too far away.
I run out of Pearland at the bridge.
Okay. I was listening to Cypress, and I could hear Cypress when I pulled into the parking lot, but it was very broken.
Actually, TransStar works better all the way out here.
Does it?
Yeah.
I didn't try TransStar. I tried Cypress because we're farther west than TransStar.
I told Tracy coming in where the exit was on Highway 36 on TransStar.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it works down here.
It works out there, huh? Well, that's good. I'll have to try that one when I pull out of here in a little bit.
But, my goal is to get enough of them up where we have handheld coverage in more places.
Yeah. I mean, you can't put too many of them up, right? So
it's like you can't have too many guns.
Yeah, that's right. That is correct. Yeah, my wife says, you have too many radios? I'm like, that's asking me if I have too much money in the bank.
Well,
no.
It's like when I got my extra, the only thing my wife asked me, she said, how much is this going to cost?
Yeah. Right. Well, great. Good deal, man. I'm excited to see the area grow down here. Of course, if you guys ever need any help, I'm willing to lend a hand. I tend to stockpile repeaters. I've got 4 or 5 of them right now at the house that don't have homes. And those Baytown guys asked me, well, what do you want for one? How much you sell this one for? I'm like, I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to deploy them. You tell me where to put it, and I'll put one down here.
How are you doing on duplexers?
I'm the 3 repeaters that I have up right now. replaced existing UHF machines, so I didn't have to get duplexers for them. Right now, I have one set of cans.
I got two.
I got two. I have two sets of cans, and I got those at Orlando last month. I got those at the Orlando Hamfest. I bought them.
You missed the deal in rain last week.
Oh, really? On UHF cans? Okay. What'd you get?
I found a guy had a set of Phillips Dodges.
Okay.
I said, how much you want for him? He said 150. I said, okay. He said, but you got to take those other boxes. The other box was a Motorola R100. The other box was a Motorola foam patch. And the other box was a 440 to 450 bandpass filter.
Really?
For $150. And then he said, now if you want some coax, you got to come get it. Suppose I'm getting several hundred foot of 7/8 coax.
7/8 inch. Wow.
For $150.
$150. That's, you can't beat that.
So, as far as I've come up with 2 pairs of duplexers.
Okay.
So we can marry those up with repeaters.
Good. Okay. Good. Yeah, I've got two UHF duplexers myself. But like this guy in Baytown, he was telling me, he said, yeah, we've got a 440 machine. We got a 2 meter and a 440 machine. The 440 machine died, and he goes, I want to put in a DMR repeater. And there's a couple other people who are interested, so it would just be plug and play, which is exactly how my Corsicana and Hillsboro repeaters went. I'd use the existing antenna, hardline, duplexer, coordinated frequency pair, everything. All I did was program my DMR repeater, plug it into the rack, and turn it on.
Well, because I've thought about in Pearland putting up another one, but putting it on Brandmeister.
Okay.
We have a location we're fixing to do some work. It wouldn't be quite as high, but that way we'd have a DMR and a Brandmeister in town, just to do something different.
See, what I did, I bought my own Seabridge. I don't know if you know I have my own Seabridge.
Seabridge 2.0?
Yeah, that's it. Seabridge 2.0.
How did you come up with that?
Somebody asked me, what's that mean? Oh, I get it. What I did was I contacted the guys at Brandmeister and I said, hey, I got a Seabridge. I want to get everything in Texas. And they're like, okay. So I have everything Brandmeister, and I've got Arkansas, and I've got Louisiana, and I've got 2 or 3 in Oklahoma. So I'm just like, I'm like, if you want to put up a Brandmeister repeater, put it on your Seabridge and just pipe the talk groups to it that you want.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I would do it. That way you can, especially in Texas, because that way you can have access to Texas statewide, which is not connected to Brandmeister right now. And you can have, if you have like 8207, like Houston 8207, if you wanted to pipe that to a repeater, so you could put Texas statewide and 8207 on time slot 1, and then you could put 5 or 6 Brandmeister talk groups on time slot 2. Well, and then you could say, well, this one's the one with Brandmeister access, and still have everything that you want to put on it.
Okay.
So
that's what I'm saying. If you want something to air,
yeah.
I think we'll have a place in Pearland to put another one.
Okay.
And I have a backyard repeater pair that I could use.
Okay.
So
if you think it would provide some coverage, I mean,
it would probably be about 70 to 80 foot up. Okay,
but it would fill in gaps to what's currently existing.
The only one is for Brandmeisters down in Kemah.
Yes. Yeah.
So if we could put kind of start doing intermixing with some more RF Brandmeister.
Yes, RF Brandmeister. Yeah. That'd be easy to do, and you can get Wayne on the Lone Star Seabridge. He has access to some Brandmeister stuff, so you could always pipe more.
But
stuff
I like
in there.
that idea of putting some stuff on one time slot, Brandmeister on the other.
I've found that works really well because then you can say. Because then you can connect into the other Texas talk groups that have been around since 2010, and if someone wants to use a Brandmeister talk group, they have that option as well. And since DMR is 2 time slots, it has more versatility that way. And the the Seabridge is more customizable. If you hook a repeater to Brandmeister, you basically have everything. They won't turn anything off. They will set certain things to static so that everything else is on push to talk timeout, but you can't eliminate it. Okay. So I just think the Seabridge, since we've already got them in place, they're more customizable anyway. That's my opinion. But okay, good. So you have anything else planned that you want to tell us about? That a new city that's upcoming besides the Rosenberg and Pearland, which you mentioned?
No, that's
that all for now.
For now, I mean, there's the West Columbia, but it's at somebody's house. It's one of those low ones.
Oh, okay.
But
I think that one's on the website.
it's on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's it's kind of low. I'm still wanting to get some more stuff up higher.
Right.
I'm kind of working in a roundabout way on trying to get stuff between here and Austin,
Yes.
because we have if you look on the still, we have the Brazoria Talk group
Yes.
for Alvin, Pearland, and Freeport. And that's to support a bike ride. We use DMR as a back channel talk.
I see.
We use the analog repeater for the true, sure enough, this is what, but I kind of like having this DMR as a back channel.
Yes.
Well, they have the BPMS 150 goes between here and Austin, which I run the command post.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to think, well, maybe we can start working DMR out towards Austin for a back channel.
Sure. They do that. They work. They have a DMR system they use in Fort Worth for the Cowtown Marathon.
Yeah.
They have 3 or 4 analog repeaters that are the main repeaters, but then there's then they put it out there and they said, okay, we're going to be on DMR as a backup channel, and here's where we'll be. And they create their own talk group. It's like a temporary talk group.
Right.
But yeah, and that seems to work pretty well. So, I'm not looking at a map and I don't know. Is Tomball on the way to Austin from?
No.
Okay.
It's due north.
It's due north
Due
of.
northeast if you. and
Oh, okay. Okay.
The last one is Waller.
Waller, yeah. I drove through Waller about a month ago, and I'm like, oh, that's where Waller is. I didn't know where it was. I'm like, I don't have it in my code plug, so I've added that in my
I think
code
the
plug
first
now.
one we'll aim for is going to be LaGrange.
That'd be a good place for one. Yeah, that'd be a real good place for one, I think. So okay, good. Awesome.
It's just a matter of finding, I know I help with a lot of repeaters. I know a lot of repeater trustees and everything else, and I do a lot of that helping. So it's a matter of twisting people's arms and stuff
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
So, but we're getting there.
Good.
I mean, it's one of those things. Unfortunately, I fell in love with DMR, and I don't care about the D-Star or any of this Fusion or any of this other stuff. I'm sticking with DMR. So.
Oh, I definitely like DMR better than anything. I've never tinkered with D-Star. I do a little bit of Fusion here and there, and it's okay for what it is, but DMR is definitely my favorite.
Well, the other one I'm pushing is we need DMR in San Antonio.
Yes. There's nothing south of Cedar Park if you're going down 35. They do have a couple of new Brandmeister repeaters in San Antonio. I don't know how high up they are, but again, they're not connected to anything else in Texas, so I'm like,
Right.
I mean, I don't mean this in a derogatory manner, but really, who cares? Because I got a mobile hotspot I carry with me if I'm on road trips anyway.
Right.
Well, I'm going to be talking on my hotspot. I'm not going to talk on your repeater that doesn't talk to the rest of the state. I'm going to talk on my hotspot if I want to talk on Brandmeister. So.
Because part of the fun in the DMR is the connectivity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Clear audio and connectivity.
Right. And I'd like the fact that I want to get all of 45 covered.
Right.
So that we can start out in Dallas-Fort Worth and drive to Galveston and be in DMR the whole time.
Dallas, you're up there, so it has a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So the other thing about DMR, I find myself now looking at the analog radio trying to see who's calling. I've gotten so used to seeing calling the name up there. I've gotten lazy with it.
Yeah. I could see that. All right, man. I appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for information, and I'm sure we'll be in touch via email or something like that, so we can follow up on Galveston, and then we can go.
I'd be kind of curious when y'all and your wife go down to Galveston how well that Texas City works for you.
I will. I'm gonna probably when I go home. I'm gonna go home tonight. I'll work on my code plugs tomorrow and get that added into the mix so that I can have it when we're down there in about 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, perfect. All right, man. Thank you very much, sir. Buddy. All right. Have a good one.
This has been Ham Radio 2.0, a YouTube production by KC5HWB. Visit our website at www.livefromthehamshack.tv. Please also stop by our Facebook page at fb.me/hamradio2. Be sure and subscribe here on YouTube to keep up with all the new videos that are posted nearly every Monday. 73s everyone, and thanks for watching.